Welcome back to the Wings vs. Rings podcast, episode 4. We're going to conclude our regular season record predictions today with the Wests, both NFC and AFC. We're also going to talk a little bit about adjusting probably our, not so much on the Cowboys for me, but definitely our Packers predictions a
Yeah.
bit, as well as probably just talk some ball. I mean, we're here. We're finally here. Kickoffs in a few days. We're ready to go. So, without further ado, I'm Dylan. I represent the Philly side of everything around here. This is my co-host,
I'm Seth and I'm representing the Boston side of everything here.
and let's get going. All right,
Yeah, I
so
really want sorry to cut you
no,
off
no,
because
you're
I'm
all good.
very juiced about this. I,
Let's
I
do it.
love the Packers and I love Micah Parsons. Absolutely love this trade for Green Bay, and I'm glad I could say I love Micah Parsons now because he's no longer a Cowboy. That really helps.
Don't I second that?
He is a Hall of Fame caliber player just entering his prime, and he went for two first round picks.
And
This
Kenny
makes
Clark.
no and Kenny Clark. This makes no sense to me at all, except for Jerry Jones is the worst GM in the NFL. I mean, it's just that simple to me now. And the reason he's the worst isn't necessarily his decision making; it's the fact that he can't be fired. It doesn't matter what he does; he's gonna have all the runway to do these things repeatedly. That to me is why he's the worst GM, if I'm being completely honest.
No,
But
I don't think I disagree.
and that's just my Cowboy side of things. That's pretty much it for me. They're we thought they were gonna lose anyways. Like who cares like about them?
I don't disagree with all of these points. I mean, if I were to adjust my win loss, Micah might add a win for me for the Packers,
Mm,
which would technically reshape it. So I don't think I'm going to make an adjustment. I like the way I had that division breaking down the NFC
yeah.
North, so I'm not personally going to adjust mine. But I know you've always been kind of high on the Packers, and you're the Jordan Love guy around here at least. So
Yeah.
I'll let you take the floor on what you got them going now.
Yeah. I actually have them. I do think like, exactly what you said. It equates to like essentially one, maybe two wins in both directions. Probably more losses for the Cowboys. But for me, the 1 to 2 wins for Green Bay puts them in the driver's seat in the North over the Lions because I only had a difference of one game. So now I do have the Packers winning the NFC North this year. And the reason why, though, outside of just Micah, it's the fact that they addressed, in my opinion, every issue they had coming into this offseason. And I think me and you believe that specifically because we think Golden is a wide receiver one. They had two major problems this offseason. No wide receiver one, no elite pass rusher. They went out and in my opinion, got the wide receiver one and got the elite pass rusher. They did exactly what they needed to do to enter that threshold of being just a great team to a contender. And that's why I'm so excited for this trade, so excited for this team. I think they're going to be a top 10 defense easily at this point, maybe top three potentially with Mike on the field or Sean Gary. I'm a little worried about their run defense now. I'm not going to lie. There is like no nose tackle to back up what Kenny Clark was doing, but I don't care. You got Micah Parsons, like you got a Hall of Fame caliber player. Like this is crazy.
I, as an Eagles fan, absolutely love this trade. I mean, for me to have to go from, I mean, I like this guy when he was at Penn State. Never really cared for the way he, I mean, he hates us, but I respected it. You know, he's got it. He
Mhm.
kind of had to. So didn't obviously care much for how he talked about us in media. Minus draft day. He's always been a very big Eagles draft day supporter. So I appreciated that out of him. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make any adjustments to mine. I believe I have the Packers finishing second in their division still. I'm still gonna rock with the Lions out of that division. I do just kind of feel as if and not to say that I don't see a world where it happens, but more so like I feel like the Lions are owed that respect, and I'm gonna give them that respect. So without further ado, let's hop right back into the NFC West predictions. Well, not back, but let's get going.
Yeah, I'll let you take it off from here. I'll let you start from here because I have a lot of things to say, but I'd like to hear what you have to say first, so I don't
Sounds good. All
forget
right,
about
so
something.
I'll start it with my fourth place team in the NFC West. Not sure if we're gonna
Interesting.
agree on this one because I think that the reason, and this wasn't even intentional, but perfectly, our Wests are probably going to be our most not necessarily contradicting, but not we're not gonna have the exact same order. I don't think on either side of this, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I
So
doubt it.
my fourth place team in the West for the NFC is the Seattle Seahawks, and I have them only winning 8 games, so a losing record. And I just have a couple things up there which The most notable thing for me is obviously going to be Sam Darnold. Quarterback play is always going to come into question first when you're looking at things from a perspective of wins to losses. I'm not saying that he dictates everything, but I do think it starts with the quarterback. And I've never been a super big Darnold guy, but it's hard to argue with what he did last year and how, those stats. Granted, I don't think he's throwing to Justin Jefferson anymore. It's still something. I mean, JSN and Cup is what, like, I mean, that's a solid wide receiver duo, wide receiver tandem to say the least, along with some talent in the backfield. I have some O line questions, but I was glad to see them make some investments at that position. A little weird to see them make them right after they get rid of Gino, but
Yeah, sure.
I have a few more things to say, but I'm gonna hold off here just because I want to see if you are we at the same spot here with the Seattle Seahawks? Are they fourth for you, or
No,
I
actually, they're
didn't
making the
think so.
playoffs for me.
Okay, see, and that's exactly why I said I kind of wanted to stop. So,
Yeah.
who's your fourth place team here?
In this,
Well, I feel like
it's
I
the
know, but
Cardinals. Yeah,
yeah.
it's the Cardinals, but it's painful because what I have them going is not what I truly feel they're going to be. It's just when I cross reference every game on every schedule, this is just what they ended up being, which is 3-14. I hate that. I really think like on paper, to me, when I'm looking at this team, I'm like, oh, this is an 8-9 win team, potentially a playoff team, depending on how you view Kyler. I just when I was cross referencing all these games, I was just like, they're probably gonna lose here, they're probably gonna lose here, and I hate that because they've made, in my opinion, like almost every single decision correctly over the last 2 years, and their defense is gonna be good, to, if not great, this year. They always have a consistent run game, decent offensive line, and in my opinion, what's gonna be an amazing duo in McBride and Marvin Harrison. Like I'm excited for that. I just
Funny you
the
say
team
that.
goes as the quarterback goes, and I am just not a Kyler Murray believer
Okay, but here,
whatsoever.
okay, for the sake of this argument, okay.
Hmm.
I know that technically speaking, I was talking Seattle, but it's a one game difference for me, so I think we could kind of combine the two. I have the Cardinals barely ahead of them at 9-8. Now, granted, if I'm being completely honest, their cross-referenced record for me is a bit lower. We did this all over again. I didn't do it as one full sheet. I just did it division by division. So in a perfect world where I did every single game on one piece of paper and I could not have them winning one game but then losing it for a different like essentially speaking, I have them 9-8, which is one game better. But the only reason I had that is because the start of their schedule to me is I, it's hard for me to say easy because we don't know exactly what we're going to see this NFL year, but I think out of the first 6 games, I think there's a real shot that they could have 4 to 5 wins, which isn't surprising for a Cardinals team. Just I feel like that's kind of what they do is they start strong and then just hit a
Off
cliff
cliff.
around
Yeah.
like what mid October, like heading into
Mhm.
November. They can no longer play football. Like
Yeah, he's
so, it's
just the
just.
NFC too.
But I'm just gonna, for the sake of the argument here, I'm gonna rattle off the first 6 games, and I want your
Mm,
honest opinion, win loss, without thinking about the actual record that you have written down. Okay.
mm.
All right. Week 1, Cardinals Saints in New Orleans.
Yeah, that's Cardinals for
Okay,
sure.
right. Let's just move right
Locked
on.
in.
Win. So now it's 1-0. Week 2, they host the Carolina Panthers.
See, this is a toss up for me because I feel like they're like the Cardinals have more talent and they're better, but it's just the Panthers. Like I don't know what Bryce Young's gonna be. That's what it comes into. Like I might believe in Bryce Young at this point more because just those 3 games, like you said, small sample size, but the unknown compared to Kyler. But I'm going to go with the Cardinals because the Panthers defense is atrocious.
I lean Cardinals in that game as well. And then this is one of the 2 losses I can see. Week 3, they go to San Francisco.
Yeah, I think I have San Francisco winning that one.
Yeah,
Even though the Cardinals always give them a run for their money though.
well, I have
Always.
them splitting on the season. So, I mean,
Yeah.
losing this one in San Fran, they host them later on in the season. I think they win that one. But besides the point, then in Week 4, they host Seattle on Thursday Night Football,
Yeah, Seattle winning this one. I think
which is
Seattle's gonna
perfectly
be
perfectly fine. Perfectly
competent
fine.
too.
That's why I said what I said. So now you have them at 2-2 heading into Week 5, where they host the Tennessee Titans.
See, this is another difficult one. It's some teams have to win. You know, not every team can be 0-16. I was trying to give Titans wins here and there, and
For the
I
sake of
think
this
I'm
one,
going to give them the Titans win. Or I
excuse
think
me.
I'm going to have the Titans win.
Okay,
The Cardinals.
and that's fine. That's fine. So now you have them at 2-3 heading into week 6 against the Colts. I just don't see a world
Oh
where
yeah,
you
they're
don't have
being the
them winning.
Colts.
Exactly. So
Yeah, they're being the
they would
Colts.
have the 3 wins right there just in their first 6 weeks, and that's kind of what I was saying. It's the big thing that I
Yeah.
had on like just in big bold. Like I truly see a real possibility that they're 4-2 or 5-1 after 6 weeks, and that's
Oh yeah,
that's a
that's
strong
real.
start. But and part of me wanted, and the reason I actually noted it was, and I kind of used it in reversal of the reason I noted it was more so as like we did that exercise because I wanted you to like just see how easy the start of their season is.
Hmm.
And by the way, the end of it is it's brutal. Like they got the Rams twice the last 5 games. They also have to go to Tampa, go to Houston, host like maybe brutal's a little bit strong, but like you get what I'm saying. Like
Super difficult.
it's definitely a lot more difficult than their starting 6 weeks. And Micah is week 7, so Micah and the Packers. Sorry, it's not just the Micah show anymore. He's got surrounding supporting cast. Point being was I actually wrote that down more so as a note of how bad I think that this team could technically be, even given that I see a world there where they win 4 to 5 of those games to start out the season. That's just the team they are to me. That the Cardinals, they can win games. They just don't play a winning brand of football, if that makes sense. It's a weird explanation for me. So
They're
I feel
just
like I've said
inconsistent.
all I need to say on my third place team in the Cardinals. So I'm assuming, well, actually, I don't know. Is your third place team? You said playoffs, but I'm still assuming Seahawks because I know you
Yeah,
like
it's
the
the
Rams still.
Seahawks.
Okay, all right, cool. So then let's move right on to your third place, my last place in the division team. It's a 1 game difference though, so it's splitting hairs here. If
Mm.
Seattle were to sweep them instead of split, like I think they will, then Seattle would have the divisional. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah,
it's really 50-50. But we'll go to Seattle, and I'll let you kick things off for this one.
yeah. I mean, just first and foremost, I'm a believer in the Seahawks defense under Mike McDonald. They're they're a very underappreciated unit, and they're very consistent. It almost reminds me of like the Vikings in a way. And I know they just got Sam Darnold, so it's kind of easy to make that connection. But I mean, specifically on the defensive side, I feel like they almost play above their skis. Like their talent on defense doesn't equate to the production that they have, and I think that comes from the mind of Mike McDonald. If I'm being honest, I think they're a very good unit, very interesting to watch, very aggressive team, just fundamentally sound. I like JSN a lot. I think he is a wide receiver one in this league, clear cut, easily, maybe a top 15 at his position at this point. That's gonna be great for Sam Darnold. This O line is very suspect, though. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, it has me. It has me very worried. If this is the one weakness on this team for me, it's this point, and this can make or break the season because Sam Darnold does not go with pressure. I understand that, but I think they addressed the interior of this O line in a way that they hadn't done at all for Gino, which is disrespectful almost in a way. But Gray Zabel, I believe in Gray Zabel to be a great interior offensive lineman in this league and an immediate impact player and someone who's going to help Sam Darnold so much. And then he just has good offensive players around him, a great defense. I don't think Sam Darnold's just going to fall off a cliff here. I don't think this is the Jets Sam Darnold. I don't think this is the Vikings Sam Darnold either. But he's gonna be a good bridge quarterback to me, in my opinion.
All right, so playoffs,
But
they get a playoff nod
mm,
from you. And I'm sorry,
yeah,
one more time. What was their record?
10-7.
Okay, so I have them 2 games under what you have them. You
Yeah.
talked about the O line. I do like the investments at that spot, but one of the things I did find notable is just that Geno's, and I don't have the actual stats, so I apologize. I probably should have wrote down the actual numbers, but time to like snap to throw time, Geno was incredible at that. Like he got the ball out quick. Granted, he had
Hmm.
to, right? Had to. But Darnold is one of the worst. He's polar opposite.
Yeah.
He holds on to the ball very long. He takes unnecessary sacks. So to mix a unknown at offensive line, and that to me is being nice. What's been a bad offensive line,
Yeah.
uh, and somebody who can't get the ball out of their hands on time, and that might be a little bit overboard. But he likes to hold on to the ball. That is true. It doesn't seem to be a good mix, which is what definitely led into me chalking up losses for them. Because when I saw the pass rush that he was going to have to go against, and just
Yeah.
knowing who Sam Darnold is, those games worried me. So I kind of would give the edge to that defensive line in my mind to win them that game in a sense, or to be,
Disrupt Sam.
yeah, basically that. And then I did want to kind of do another little exercise. I wrote this down. I'm kind of interested to see what you say. This is off the just top of the dome. Where would JSN and Cup land in a top what wide receiver duo? What do we think? Top five?
Not
Top
not
seven?
no. Not it wouldn't land high for me at all because they don't complement each other, in my opinion. I love Cooper
Because
Cup as
they're
a
both too
talent.
similar, just route
They're
running kind of.
they're no one's taking the top off, no one's creating room over the middle, none of that. It just JSN to me is a top 15, probably potentially talent. I haven't sat there and wrote it out, but he just feels like that to me at this point. I love Cooper Cup. I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm not very in on him as a talent in the NFL anymore, and he does not compliment JSN at all to me. I maybe 10, maybe 10th, probably lower. I'd have to sit there and write it out. I'm not very interested in them as a duo.
I guess that's fair, but I meant more so like when you combine the teams one and two, like from just for raw skill. But I do agree that part of what would go into like tiebreakers in a sense when ranking team like for me personally, my top wide receiver duo is going to be the Eagles, and the reason I would have them one instead of two is just because I think the complement of AJ Smitty is just so perfect. Like the way that they don't play the same brand of ball. Like it's perfect for us. And that's the only thing for me that gives them the edge in my mind over the Jamar and T tandem. Like, not to say that those two do the same thing. I'm just saying that I get what you're saying with the
It
compliments.
complements them
Yeah,
better. Yeah.
exactly. So that was one of the things. And then another thing that I definitely wanted to talk about was Demarcus Lawrence production. Is he a sneaky like best edge they've had in a minute? I,
He's
I,
great. He's great. This D line is good. This D line is really like sneaky underrated for sure. This D line is good. The secondary is good. Like in my opinion, very good.
I think the defense is
Linebacker
good.
is a little suspect, but I think Mike McDonald's scheme overcomes that. But what my biggest thing is, back to your point about the time to throw, I I think the Seahawks are gonna realize that Geno Smith is a top 12 quarterback in this league, and he made up for so many issues. Do not get me wrong. He is awesome. I think they did address like a huge glaring issue and with Gray Zabel, and that's what I'm banking a lot of this on. And the Sam Darnold point, while I do not disagree, he had a lot of time to throw. He was he wasn't playing in structure as much as people I feel like think in with the Vikings. Like the reason he had so long to throw is because he was maneuvering that pocket. He was getting up. He was taking those deep shots. He wasn't just hitting the first read that was wide open. He was taking his time. He was creating time. He was hitting these, huge bombs over the top. Like he was playmaking last year. And I think that's really what it comes down to is like, do you think KOC coddled this man and developed him and like, put training wheels and held his hand? Or do you think that he was given structure and an ability to grow, and he finally flashed those talents that people saw in him at the third overall pick, and he was able to maneuver in the pocket, improvise, and throw these bombs up the field. Like I'm more of that in that second group than the first group, if I'm being honest. And I'm curious where you land on that.
Personally, I just it's hard for me just because I've never really seen a situation minus I guess now Gino and Sam where someone was so majorly unsuccessful to start their career and then
Mm-hmm.
just had that up year. But more than anything, for him to have had that up year and then move teams again, that's what scares me. Now, if he's with Minnesota again this year, I don't think I have him winning 14 games or anything, but I would believe in them more because I've seen him do it with them.
True.
So where I mean, at the end of the day, I hear a lot of what you said. I mean, I couldn't tell you if it was true as far as I can't recall him creating time. I would assume that he was given a lot more time than he'll be able to get like be given here too.
Yeah.
But even taking your word on it, I would still assume that Kevin O'Connell had a lot to do with his success and helping him.
Oh
And
yeah,
he's just
for
offensive
sure.
minded coach. Now he's going to a defensive minded culture. Like it's just kind of like I would probably assume he is. It's just hard to say that because he had such an extraordinary year. Because I was gonna say statistically worse, but it's hard to follow up great. That was a great statistical year for Sam
Yeah,
Darnold.
borderline MVP caliber, like that's tough.
Those were great
Uh,
numbers, and those are hard to
Very good
argue.
numbers. But also, when you look at it though, the Vikings completely revamped the interior of their own line. Like that wasn't a strength last year either. If we're being completely honest here, that wasn't a strength last year either. And I believe Sam Darnold's time to throw on average was closer to 4 seconds, and Geno's was closer to like 2.5. He's not getting 4 seconds in Seattle. That's not happening. He probably also isn't just getting 2.5 either. It's probably going to be somewhere in the middle at this point, somewhere in like closer to, I don't want to say NFL average, but not 31st, which is what they were. That's what the pressure rate that Geno had first Smith had to deal with. It was 31st in the league. I think the only team worse was the Patriots. Like this was a horrid offensive line. I think it'll be closer to 19 to 24 in that range. And I think Sam Darnold can almost deal with that a little bit more than people are giving him credit for. Because this Viking, I mean, they signed how many new
No, I
people and
agree.
drafted a new off? Like that
I
interior
100%
is
agree. I
completely
more
rebuilt.
so mean scheme to personnel in
Yeah.
Minnesota offensively is a
Oh
lot
yeah.
better, and that
So
is
much
just
better.
it's kind of inarguable. And when you're throwing to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson, like
Mhm.
not to I don't want to discredit him because again, statistically speaking, that was a great year. I
Mhm.
just I just think like he had a lot in his favor. He also had gotten a year with Shanahan to work like before that with Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. Like so it's like to go from great offensive mind to a great offensive mind, if anything he's set up for success better than anyone else, I think would be when they go from given that he got to be with those great offensive minded coaches for 2 years. And
Yeah.
also he saw him like it's got to be something for motivationally to know that he can do it. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
he's now proven to himself. Granted, I'm sure he never felt like he couldn't, but he's now proven to himself and everyone else what he's capable of. So it's definitely something to think about. And while we're on the topic of it, I think it's also notable to not write him off from an age perspective. He's actually younger than Kyler Murray. He's younger than Kyler.
That's nasty. I did not know that.
Yeah, that blew my mind when I was researching for us to do this segment. I was just thinking like, how old is he? Because I'm be honest, I was ready to kind of like give you my reasons why we shouldn't believe in him, and the reason why I don't necessarily believe in them. Like I don't have them making the playoffs. I don't think 8 and 9 is disgusting. I don't think they're going to be an awful team. I really do think that they're going to be a nice football team. I don't know if he's the answer long term at quarterback, but I just don't think that when all said and done at the end of the year, he's going to be the glaring issue.
Mhm.
I just think that they have a tough division. We've already done 3 and 4, so obviously I have the Niners having at least 9 wins, 10 wins. So I think that they're going to be good. I think the Rams are good. Like, so it's stuff like that. But the fact that he's younger than Kyler, I just honestly it made me kind of like take a step back because I think of Kyler as someone who still has time to kind of hit his stride. He's 28. He's 28 years old.
Yeah.
Sam is 27, I think, like going on 28. Point being, he is not by much, but he's younger than Kyler, and that blew my mind. I did want to bring up one more thing. Vegas agrees with me on this one. I thought that was kind of surprising. Vegas thinks that, or at least they have their win totals set at 7.5 for the Seahawks. Over under line is 7.5 wins, and the Cardinals is 8.5 wins. So they also only have them a game, uh, you know, away from each other. But I thought that was interesting, and it's something that I had noted
Uh,
here as well.
that is really interesting. I think that the Seahawks would be happy, honestly, like losing Geno. Like if you're 8 and 9 the next year, I think you're okay. I don't want to say happy, but you're not as heartbroken. Like it could be so much worse. Sam Darnold, I think, is actually going to be a good quarterback. He's going to win maybe a couple more games than people think. If they have him at 7.5, it doesn't take a huge leap of imagination.
Yeah. So just finishing up some thoughts here on the Rams. The defense is they're gonna make plays.
Yeah,
The the offense has talent, but kind of like you were saying, just this. It's a weird point. Not even kind of like you're saying. That's a really good point. It's something that I'd have to really think about as far as like boom or bust potential on a season because that's kind of what like to dumb down what you said. Like
Mhm.
it just they seem to be the most boom or bust team, at least playoff team or contender. Even I don't know.
Mhm.
It is weird because it's like if we're sitting, I don't know. Let's just, for example, if we're sitting together talking about the season in January and it's playoff times, and we're like, man, it's like Rams only won 8 games, they didn't make it. I
Not
don't.
shocking.
Yeah, exactly. Like I wouldn't be like, what? They only won 8? Like that doesn't feel as crazy as you would expect.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we were sitting there having the same conversation, but instead it's the Rams won 12 games, they got the 1 seed or the 2 seed in the NFC. Like that also doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It is a very weird thing. Health is going to be a big factor here for them, and
Oh
it'll
yeah.
be the biggest factor for Stafford. And whether that back injury was more, you know, tongue in
Yeah,
cheek,
tongue in cheek.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you said. But I'm really excited to talk about this next team, so I don't want to jump into it too early. Do you want to close up what you got to say about the
Yeah.
Rams, or
Just one more thing on the Rams. I think they play down to their competition. I'm gonna be honest. That's why I think the variance is so high. They will be in a 13-10 game against the Seahawks. They'll be in a 13-10 game against the Cardinals. They'll be in a 37-35 game against the Bills. They play up. They get ready for
Were
those
those
big
the
games.
actual
That's why
scores?
No, no, no. That's just off the top of my head.
I was
That's
gonna
how it
say
feels like
like
it goes.
that Bills game. Like I do remember that. That was an
And it was
exciting game to
awesome.
watch. Yeah.
It was awesome. That's why they're so fun to watch to me though, is because like they suit up for those big games. Like they always come prepared.
You know what was fun to
Obviously,
watch?
every playoff game, yeah, yeah. Saquon Barkley.
Saquon there live. Sorry. Go ahead. Every playoff game.
Yeah, they come to play. That's what you want to see. But they genuinely like. It feels like they take some weeks off. It feels like
They
they should come in there and take this team's lunch money. And it's a close game. And Stafford, I'm not gonna lie, in those close games, he's prone to make a mistake. He's prone to fumble in the end zone. He's prone to throw a pick six. Like he he's a gambler. And in those close games, it'll bite you. It'll bite you bad. But I feel like it always works out in those big games. I don't know what it is, but they're such an amazing team to watch to me. They really could win the Super Bowl this year. They could be picking top 10. Like it's not out of the realm of
and
possibility.
they'll get to look good doing it a few weeks with those new jerseys because I truly they're the only jerseys in rotation for the Rams that I appreciate. Just that's just me personally speaking, my opinion. I don't like the newer Rams jerseys. I'm a much bigger fan of
The classics.
before this updated jersey, whatever, however you want to say it. All right, let's jump right into the 49ers, who we both have winning the division. I still only had them winning 11 games. Um, for the sake of argument, I'm just gonna say 12-5, just so it makes it easier to pinpoint them as the divisional winner because I don't remember how I did the math as to decide which one. It's like in conference is what I tried to do, but
Yeah, it's like strength of schedule and blah blah blah. It's weird.
so
The
I'll just say
tiebreakers.
12-5. The 49ers are going to win this division, and honestly, the reason why I truly believe this is that they have the easiest schedule. Their schedule
Mm,
is it's a cakewalk, a walk in the park. And again, it's easy to say that from the standpoint of not knowing whatever team's going to be this year, but based off win percentages from last year, that's what's going to be on their schedule. Most teams
mm,
don't necessarily make that instant flip. I don't think they're going to have a lot of teams on their schedule that are going to give them a run for their money outside of the interdivision games.
mm.
Injuries at the skill positions is going to be a big question mark for them, as it is for every team. But for them, I mean, Ayuk's already out. They've already McCaffrey's already a question mark as far as how comfortable they're going to
Jennings,
feel. Jennings, yeah,
he's a
well,
question mark.
it, for one reason or the other. Um,
Yeah, true, true, true.
so I just wanted to. I mean, I got a couple more things to note here, but I just wanted to say that I do think that this is still a very talented football team. Their defense
Mm.
does still have pieces that I'm a big fan of. Fred Warner, most of all of them, just the best linebacker in the league. He's the best middle linebacker in the league,
Oh
hands
yeah,
down, hands down. Getting Robert Saleh back, I do think that's a big deal for them. I really do think that getting him back with them. Granted, he has less to work with this year. He doesn't have as much as they had in years past. Those Super Bowl rosters had, but I'm excited to see what he can do with them back. But without further ado, I'm gonna spin it to you here, man. Let's see it. What you got?
yeah. So it's funny that you say cakewalk because that's like the first thing in bold in my notes section here. Cakewalk schedule, genuinely easy schedule in the league. I know some people want to say that there is no easy schedule in the NFL. I mean, I get that, but there's got to be the easiest schedule in the NFL, and that's where that comes in. To me, they're 13-4, relatively high. I understand. I don't think their talent is 13-4. I just really think their schedule is that easy this year, if I'm being completely honest.
So they're
I think
this
they got
banged
hit.
up, right? Like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
and it's just like they're that banged up, but they have the teams that they have on their schedule somehow like counteract that. It's just it's a really weird thing. At least it did for me. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah. They're good. That's exactly the point I was going to get into. The injury bug hit him hard last year. I don't know if the variance is going to swing that hard again, if I'm being honest. Like they're a little banged up right now, for sure. Last year, it was like D-Day out there, and everyone was just going down. Like it was ridiculous. Like I think the variance has to swing somewhere into the middle, and they're going to be a decently healthy team. CMC back, love that. I'm a solid believer. I'm a big Shanahan believer. His offensive mind is it might be second to none right
As
now in
long
the
as he's not
NFL.
in a Super Bowl.
As long as it's not Jimmy G. You know what though? Like Jimmy G probably should have completed that pass and they beat the Chiefs.
Hey,
And
hey,
Purdy
whoa,
came
whoa,
off the
whoa,
field
whoa, whoa.
winning. I'm sorry, Purdy came off the field winning, bro. You
That
know what I'm
that's
saying?
fair, but Kyle was still on the other side of the Atlanta game. that you
He
guys
was
have
an
rooting
offensive
for.
coordinator.
I'm just
Okay,
saying he
he
was
doesn't
still on
deserve
the other
blame for
side of the
that. I
field.
get what you're saying. There's always context everything, but
But
yes,
as I
it's
said when
looking
we were
bad.
talking Darnold, he's definitely up there, top 2 to 3 in my mind, offensively speaking. So continue. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, it just comes down to what you think the 49ers are. Like, do you think last year was the outlier? Do you think 2 years ago was the outlier? I'm more inclined to believe that they're closer to the team 2 years ago than they were to last year. The injuries created such a variance that it was honestly ridiculous. And I think they're a much better team than that. But couple that with the easiest schedule in the NFL, I think they just win 13 games. Like, I, I think they win this division relatively easily, if I'm being honest. Because the Rams, boomer bust. I'm just high on the Seahawks. Like, I could be completely wrong here, and obviously I'm super low on the Cardinals. Like, I think this is the Niners division to win, if I'm being honest,
I don't,
easily.
I don't know if I disagree with you. I do have a couple question marks, which of course are all mostly health related because if they're healthy, the talent is there. It's just there. Like I mean, maybe not as much with Debo gone. I'm not sure what how I even feel about Debo at this point, but with him
True.
gone and with some of the losses on defense, like Hafanga, like yes, some talent definitely left the building, and it's inarguable. However, there's still so much talent on both sides of the football. Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, that alone is
Hmm.
incredible. Just those two players, and that's short. That's really, really shorting quite a few different defenders on their team.
Yeah,
I like Lenore,
I
their
love
corner.
Mustafa.
Like
I
so,
love Mustafa.
exactly. So there's like it's actually being disrespectful to a lot of the other great players on their defense. Offensively speaking, I'm not sure where I fall on Purdy if we're going raw rankings, but I believe that he can run an efficient offense, and I believe that he can play good playoff football, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah,
Truly, I think that
that's
he
all that
can,
matters.
and it's all that's ever mattered for Kyle Shanahan. So as long as he could do it to a semi-efficient or at a semi-efficient rate, they'll be okay. The question mark really will be health. They got a couple of injuries early camp, kind of it kicked them a little bit while they were down. Nobody really on IR to enter the season that I think was a projected starter, but still they're dealing with their guards are both dealing with like some sort of nagging injuries that are from camp. Jawan's got is it a hamstring, a calf? Or is that no? That's
Yeah,
Pearsall is the calf. I'm not or
no, it's
hamstring.
something to do with the lower body for
Yeah.
Jennings
So
too.
point being, both their guys, both their receivers that are supposed to be the 1 and 2 this year, they're dealing with something of the sort, and then McCaffrey is he healthy? I think so. Everything seems to point to he is, and we're gonna get a healthy CMC. Last year we didn't get that, and then where does he fall when healthy? Now I don't want to take him
Oh man,
down. I don't want when
when
fully
fully
healthy, he's
healthy,
top three
right?
undoubtedly.
Easily top three.
Easily, I agree,
I'd probably put him
100%.
one
Thing
still.
is,
I
is
don't want to short Saquon, but
no, I
it's
understand.
gonna be impossible to, like, in my opinion, like 2,000 yards repeating hasn't been done. I think CMC and Saquon will be a relatively close discussion.
And I'm not even trying to get into all that. I just meant more so as a 29-year-old coming off an injury that kept him out the vast majority of last season. What will he be now? Because it's
Mm,
not. We can't really talk about what McCaffrey was. It's what he will be. What he'll
yeah,
be now is what I don't know, and that was what kind of made this a little bit complex when doing it. But again, it's just it's such an easy schedule to the point where no matter how injury riddled you think they are or can be, could be, no matter how much you believe in their defense with all the losses, with solid, without solid, does not matter. None of these things matter because Vegas's win total still is at 10.5. They still think with all this stuff that schedule is so easy that team, even with practice squad receivers, disrespecting Sky Moore right now, but even with all that, without Brandon Ayuk for a month plus maybe, this team is still expected to win 10 games. I think that goes without saying. It's it's a big reason why we both have them winning the NFC
it's their
West.
division to lose. It's
Yeah,
their
I
division to lose.
truly I truly believe that. And
And I kind of hate it.
yeah, I do too because I'm a 49er hater, but I mean, I guess something to talk about as well outside of CMC as far as like what will they be? You could say the same for Ayuk coming off an injury that catastrophic, like a worse injury, I guess. At least it was. At least we know exactly what it is. It's pinpointed. It feels a little bit more easier to understand. But
Yeah, and then tendonitis in
then,
both Achilles or
then he has a calf issue, but he'll be ready week 1, and then he's in Germany. But
whatever.
moving on. So Trent Williams, though, I
Oh
mean,
my goodness.
37 years old. I don't know what to expect out of him, but he's still top tier tackle. Even at 37, he's probably better than
Half the league.
25 plus like
Yeah.
starting tackles in the league. Like I don't know. It's this team is set up for success just because of who they have to play. Their division will be the hardest games on their schedule for the most part. Um, and I mean, they're gonna play the Saints. I guess I don't know what I feel about the Jaguars, but the Saints, the Cardinals twice. They get to play the Giants. And I only say Cardinals twice because you had them winning 3 games, so I get to use that.
Yeah.
I get to use that feeling. They get the
True.
Browns, they get the Titans, they get the Colts. Like, dude, they get the Panthers. They're gonna
Yeah.
win. I feel like they bare minimum. The worst version of their season is still gonna be like 10 wins.
Yeah.
I just truly believe that. So
Truly. Yeah. Before we move on to the AFC West, real quick. Sorry if I cut you
no, go
off.
ahead. You're all good.
I'm curious because I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Kittle here because he's a top five tight end all time for me personally. I love the dude. Do you think he's the best offensive weapon in this division? Like just talked about like Puka, JSN, right?
No,
Like McBride. You don't think he's the best?
no.
Who would you have as the best then? Just out of
If
curiosity.
I honestly think that it would be like a 1, 2, 3 situation for me. Again, I'm gonna put him at 1 because I do still expect him to be producing despite what happened last year. I think CMC is the best. I think he's the best weapon
Hmm. Okay.
because I mean, the versatility. Yes,
He
he's a
goes. He
running
goes.
back, so the position makes it easier for him to be versatile. Like you're not gonna put Kittle back there and hand him a halfback dive or a tight end dive. So I get that part definitely factors into it, but he's just such a dynamic player. The ability to be an 1,000 yard receiver, 1,000 yard rusher, that's just insane to me. So he'd probably be 1. And then now, and I'm talking just currently now, I'd probably have Puka 2, but again, I'm a big Puka fan. I love that guy. I just think
You're a
he's,
Puka purist.
I guess so. I'm sipping the Puka Kool-Aid. So,
Yeah.
but then it would be him third, and he's definitely up there. And I'd argue it. You could convince me that he's 1, and I wouldn't call you crazy if you believed he's 1. So definitely a
He's
fun thing to
amazing.
do. Think of divisionally, if healthy. Divisionally, they still have the best 2 offensive threats just between CMC and himself. So I'm taking those 2 over Devontae and Puka. Does that help? Is that any cost? Like if I got to take 2 skill players from any team,
Mm.
I would take those 2 over 2 from any other. Like I don't want JSN and Cup. I don't want Devontae and Puka.
Oh,
I
I get
I
what you're
want
saying. Like the
CMC and
combination
I
of
want Kittle.
talent.
If I could
Yeah.
take a two player, yeah, that's so
Yeah.
the combination of both of
I
them.
get you.
Absolutely, I would take that.
Yeah.
But
I honestly, for me, I have a hard time not disagreeing with you, like honestly, but Kittle without Ayuk and without Debo is like a 1,600 yard receiver per season. I think that's what it ends up being. Like he is when he's the only mouth to feed. I mean, that man eats, bro. Like he's awesome. He's gonna have to be awesome this year. And he by the end of the season, maybe we do think Kittle is the best offensive weapon in this team
very
because
true.
he's force fed. Best offensive weapon in this division. I mean, because he's force fed, more yards, just that there are more touchdowns. He
Versatility
is
comes in
a
different
target
ways.
monster.
Because I
True.
guess you could also say that the versatility of him being able to block his ass off is incredible.
Yeah. Just an extra old lineman out there that can
Yeah,
also
and we've
put
we've
160 yards in
always
your head.
been huge on the fact that Kittle can block and wants to block. So
Oh yeah,
that's definitely something that should be talked about when you mention George Kittle, and that's not at all to shorthand his receiving talent. It's more so just to credit him even
that's how good he
beyond
is
being.
blocking. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
All right, so I'm
true.
really excited to get into this because I do already know that this is probably going to be our most differences or most disagreement as far as disagreeing and agreeing with one another. I think we're gonna have top to bottom probably a different order. I really do.
Oh
No,
really?
no, no. I'd
I thought it'd just be
say
the top
I'd
two.
I'd say the top 3 will be different, but I'm gonna
Hmm.
assume we both have 4 being the Las Vegas
Interesting.
Raiders.
Yeah, that is what I have for instead Raiders six
All
and
right,
11.
I'm very excited to finish the rest of this division off because this will
Yeah,
be where we not argue per se, but we're gonna disagree. You said 6 wins.
yeah, 6 and
All right,
11.
so I guess I like them more than you. I'm the Raiders guy. Never thought I'd ever say that in my life. Ever did I think I'd say that. I have them winning 8 games this year, and that is just a credit to Gino, Genty,
Mm,
Pete Carroll, and I honestly like. We can sit here and do an exercise where we rank offensive skill positions, but their offensive skill group just Jacoby Myers, Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, and I guess even Amari Cooper at this point you can kind of throw in there. I like them a lot more than I like a lot of the other skill positions in the league. Like I mean that. I really
Yeah,
do.
that might be the best
Genti
skill
hasn't
positions in the division.
Genti hasn't even taken a snap yet, and I think he's already top 10 running back. So like, and that's just being
Mhm.
like, not to be overly optimistic is what I was trying to do there. Brock Bowers is probably the best tight end in the league. He's
Yeah,
another glorified receiver. Like he's fantastic. It might be the worst team that has the best skill positions, if that makes
true.
sense. But I have them winning 8 games. Vegas does have their line at 6.5, like we talked about earlier. So I
Mhm.
think they agree a little bit more with you. I just I like it. I think that no doubt in my mind, this team took giant leaps in so many different spots this year. I mean,
I know.
to have Gino over uh, I'm sorry, I'm spacing his name.
Aiden O'Connell.
O'Connell. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that is that's got to be the biggest QB jump in the league. It's got to be.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
insane how
This is.
much better Geno Smith is, and I'm not the Geno guy. You are, but Genty, I'm gonna talk year one predictions for him. We'll get to that. I think Pete Carroll. I'm not sure what I think he'll be now, but I definitely think he's 30,000. Like they had the best coaching and quarterback upgrade maybe I've ever seen in my life. Not so much to say the greatest things about Carroll and Gino, but as bad as it was last year with
Yeah,
Pierce and Oak, like that's terrible. It was terrible. But anyways,
very
I have
bad.
them winning 8 games. You have them winning six, so you're a little bit more pessimistic. Let's hear why.
Yeah, honestly, I felt bad for Raiders fans because, in my opinion, they've done everything right the last 2 years, and they're still in the same boat. They've gotten a better coach. They went aggressive. They got Geno Smith. They got Tom Brady in the building. That's never a bad thing. And they took the people they should have been taking in the draft. They took Bowers. He fell to him. They took Genty in a way he fell to them. Like those are the right selections. I don't care how it pans out with Genty. That was the right decision. I know people like to have revisionist history, and it's like, oh, they should have went back and did this with this pick, this, and that. They've made the right picks with the right people at the right time. Jackson Powers Johnson falling to them in the second round. Like they just took
Yeah,
the guys that are
last year, yeah,
obvious.
yeah,
I love that. They
totally
just
agree.
taking the people that they need to bring in. They just need talent. Max Crosby, what a stud, bro. Like what an awesome player. They have
Actually,
blue
I
chip
do want to
talent
cut you off just for one
everywhere.
moment while you bring up Max. I didn't have this noted, but I do think that front offices are they're so important. I've learned that through my time of both hating and loving Howie Roseman. So I just want to take a second to appreciate what they did for Max, which was just giving the guy a pay raise just because he deserved more money. They
Yeah.
they signed him early and had absolutely no reason to go back in there, rework it to give him more money, but they appreciated their player and they went in, they did it. They were like, here's some more money. And so just wanted to take a second to say that they did good. They did good by him. Doing good by your players, that's what develops a great culture, what makes more players want to be there. So it's just kind of like you were saying, like they're doing the right things.
They're
Continue.
doing
I'm
the right
sorry.
things, and they're still in the same boat. Like I feel bad for them. I know we're not the biggest Raiders fans, but it sucks when you see everyone when someone's doing the right thing repeatedly and they're not getting the result they deserve. They're just in the toughest division I think I've seen in quite some time. This is it's a bloodbath, to be honest. I feel bad for them. Offensive line, not amazing, not that bad. But Bowers, Genty, Gino, that might like Bowers, Genty, and Jacoby might be the best weapons group in this division. If we're being honest, they might have the best
That's
defensive
yeah.
player in this division.
That's honestly
If
what
we're
I'm
being honest,
saying, man. That's why
and
like even having
they
them
just
in
can't get
fourth
anywhere.
feels weird.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it, but it's just that's how it falls. Like to be honest, it's like the
So
Cardinals all over again. Just how it falls for me.
yeah, I don't disagree with that point, and I also wanted to say it might even be like the Cardinals, but even worse in the sense that I think that this division as a whole is better than the NFC West as a whole.
True. Yeah.
So I think that they're going to suffer from that, but I also think that no matter what, 6 wins, 8 wins, whatever they fall closer to, it's just gonna look a whole lot better, and maybe that'll just be like enough to get the ball rolling for them. Like you said, they made all the right choices, except for one of the most important positions on the field for a long time at this point, because Derek Carr wasn't even the right choice. I mean, he's only good in contract years, and they kept making the mistake of paying him. So, um, it was hard to even have them at 8 wins. Honestly, it really was because I think that that skill position group is great. But if I'm gonna throw Jacoby in there, it's also pretty notable that he did request a trade as well. So
Future
maybe
pitcher.
maybe future
Yeah.
and former Patriot. So let's talk
Maybe come
Ashton
back.
Genty year one predictions. Do you think, I don't want to, we don't have to go, nail a stat, 10 touchdowns, 13, 46 yards. Like, do you think he hits 1,000 yards? That's just all I need to hear.
Yeah, I think for me the question is, does he hit above 1,300 yards? And that's where I'm at, honestly. This dude's a monster. He
I don't mind
hits.
that.
He's a
Let's take a
thousand
bet, long
yards.
term bet.
So okay, so
Send the
receive
table.
like total yards
I want
above the
total
over.
yards
Mhm.
1350 over under 1350 and a half yards.
I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna take the over on that. I think I'm gonna take the over on that. He's an animal, and he can catch, regardless of what people say. He can catch. He did
I
it
know he
the year
had a
before in Boise.
rough start or a rough preseason, and now everyone's like taking
Out
the
on him,
Jamar Chase
whatever.
route. Like
Yeah,
he couldn't see the
exactly, bro.
football.
Couldn't see the stripes.
But I do think that he's gonna have a great year. I don't necessarily want to take the under, but for the sake of the bet, I'll take that action. But
Mhm.
I just think that no team in my history of the NFL, and when I say my history, I mean my time watching it, which is probably going back to like 2010 at the absolute earliest, has ever upgraded this big at quarterback and coach and will still not have a winning season. I mean, no matter what,
I
I don't have
just
them having a winning season. Maybe I'm wrong,
I hate it for them, man. I hate it for them.
but they're doing the right things. They're going the right direction. And granted, they took two tight ends, like with their first was Michael Mayer a first round pick or was he a second round pick?
Uh, I think he might have been top of the second round. Regardless,
Point
though,
being,
they didn't know
they
Bowers was coming down the
invested. Yeah,
pipeline.
well, they invested at tight end 2 years in a row, and they didn't make a mistake because that's how good Brock Bowers is. So
Yeah.
I want to move on to
True.
the team that I have in third place that I know you don't.
Okay, here we go. Lay it on me.
Here's where things are gonna get crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I have the Denver Broncos in third place in this division.
Mm.
And before I get started, I just want you to go ahead, and say who you have third.
The Chargers. I have the Chargers in third.
Respectable, respectable. Point being
Mm.
is your two is gonna make it's gonna make you laugh.
Yeah.
But so do we start with Broncos or Chargers? I mean, we did. I feel like we did
Let's
an
let's start with
okay job.
Chargers.
Okay, I was gonna say I feel like we did an okay
Chargers.
job. I'm down for that. Okay. The biggest reason why is it's offense for me because defensively, there's no question whose defense is better. It's Denver's. But offensively speaking, whether you're a Herbert guy or a Herbert purist and you think he's top five or not, I think he's better than Bo Nix. But I think that
For sure.
I think that their running back room is better. I think their
Yep.
receiver room is better.
I don't agree necessarily with that one, but okay.
We want to talk the running back one.
No, the running back one I agree with.
So you
I don't
think the
think I agree with
receiver room?
receiving.
You think the receiver room in Denver is good?
I think when you talk receiver room, you mean pass catchers in general. So
So
Evan
you're
Ingram's
counting
included
Evan
in
Ingram,
this.
I guess, in that one. I guess that's fair,
Yeah.
but I meant wide receivers in a general sense because I think just wide receivers,
Okay.
Denver might have the worst in the league. They might, just as a full room.
Okay. McConkey's better than Cortland, not by that much. Trey Harris, I believe in him a little bit. Injured, unknown. Marvin Mims, I think it would go if we did like top four receivers between them. It would go McConkey, then Cortland, then Mims, then Harris for me.
And I'm not a
So
Quentin Johnston guy. Don't get me wrong, but I think Keenan Allen might get votes in that since he's
man,
back. I'm not saying I
I
would.
cannot be more out on him than
I'm not saying that I would. I'm just saying that I do think that he might get a nod, and that's not even necessarily saying anything fantastic about uh, Keenan. It's more so how bad I truly believe that the Denver
Troy
Broncos receiver
Franklin looked
room is.
amazing in
Troy
preseason too.
Franklin is probably the bright spot there because I want to project him to be better than what he like what he's done,
Was
what he's
last year.
accomplished.
Yeah.
But Cortland Sutton's the only one I respect as far as in that wide receiver, because I do think
Okay.
Evan Ingram is a very big upgrade. So I probably should have, combined the two. That's fair to say. But running back room wise, I
Yeah. No,
don't
it's
think
the
it's
it's the
necessarily super close. I could be wrong. I've heard good
it's the
things about the
Chargers for
RG
sure.
RJ Hart. RJ Harvey. I do like J.K. Dobbins, but I don't think he's better than what I believe Hampton will be. But it's also that's projecting. So, um, go ahead, take over.
To me, the Chargers like edge starts and stops with Herbert. That's it. I'd take him over Bo Nix any given day, any given Sunday. I
Well,
don't
I'd
know if
say O
Harbaugh is
line,
better than Sean.
right? You would
No,
take
the
the Broncos
Broncos
O
O
line as a
line.
whole,
The Broncos O line is top four in the league, top three in the league. They
really?
they were the best O line last year. Like I'm only giving the Eagles their like credit and just desserts, they were statistically the Broncos were statistically the best pass blocking and the best run blocking O line last year. They
What
were
exactly is the statistic
elite.
behind that?
The pass block win rate, run
Okay,
block win
all
rate.
right. I was just curious.
Yeah, they were amazing, and that's a Sean Payton effect in my mind, in my opinion, because they weren't. No one was talking about the Broncos before Sean Payton got there in terms of how good this line is. This line is elite. If they didn't have literal bums in that running back room, this team would have been on a whole nother level of offensive production, in my opinion. And now they don't have bums in that running back room.
All right, hold on,
That's
hold
why
on.
I'm kind of
We're
in on the
talking.
Chargers.
You're still
Yeah, sorry.
talking Denver. You're supposed to be talking a
Yeah,
little
I'll
bit
move
more
back to the
Chargers
Chargers.
right now.
Yes.
All right,
Sorry.
go ahead.
I have the Chargers going 10-7. I should have probably came out the gate with that.
I have them in
Awesome
second place,
QB.
so they're not.
Awesome QB.
Yeah,
What are they for you, actually? If
they
you're
they
asking?
have just one win better, 11-6. I actually have
Okay.
Denver at 10-7 and in third place. It was a tough one, and it actually was very
Are they making
similar
the
to.
playoffs for you? Sorry to cut you off.
I'm gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
Okay.
Actually, I spoiled yours, but you kind of spoiled yours. We're gonna get there for me. Because I do need to like kind of lay it all out for myself again and see it, but we'll get there.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was similar to the Niners in the Niners and the Rams in the sense that I had to do it like three times and have like one like just someone break the tie. And for me, it
Mm.
was offense. It was Justin Herbert that he was kind of the reason. But I'd be arguing that their offensive line was elite had Rashawn Slater not been injured. If he wasn't injured, I'd say with Joel and Zion Johnson adding adding Mekhi Becton from Philly last year, I think he had a resurgence year. Him playing guard is a really good addition. I don't think he's a tackle. So if they would have had Slater and all at tackle, Becton Johnson at guard, and Bradley Bozeman at center, I would be arguing that I think that their offensive line is elite. But Rashawn Slater, that is a huge injury, and maybe I should have had them flip for that reason because I do think that he is worth at least a minimum of a game.
Mm.
I do believe in Herbert to get them to the playoffs. I do believe in Jim Harbaugh more than I believe in Sean Payton. That
Yeah.
part for me is true. As far as as far
Just
as
out of curiosity, why though?
why
Sorry
I
to put you on
believe
the
more in
spot.
Jim Harbaugh than Jim Harbaugh than Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Uh, this is kind of putting me on the spot, but I think it's a valid question.
Sorry.
No, it's a valid question. It's a very valid, very very valid question. I actually just don't like the way Sean Payton handles things. I don't like the way he addresses media.
Mm.
I don't like the way he addresses issues with the team. Like he talks. Like, I feel like he airs out dirty laundry way more than it needs to be. Like just keep that stuff in
Mm.
house. I also don't. I don't. I don't want to speak on things I don't know. I don't know what exactly happened in New Orleans, but to be there and be a part of the Spygate, to take a suspension, he has something to do with it. So I've never like
Mm.
just ruins
Yeah.
things in my mind there. I like Jim Harbaugh. He to me he's like the polar opposite. He handles media the right way. He buys into his players, his team. He just pumps them up with his like he has such an infectious positive energy. And I feel like Sean Payton's almost like the opposite in my mind. It's like a modern day Bill Belichick. Like he's just so
Yeah.
maybe
I
that's
don't
why you
hate
like him.
that.
Maybe that's why you
I
like
don't
him.
hate that.
But
But
to answer
I
your
agree. I
question,
get what you're
that's why.
saying. I get what you're saying. Personality wise, Harbaugh might be the best in the NFL. He's awesome. I just like Sean Payton gets results. That's just what it comes down to for me. Jim Harbaugh gets results, but he doesn't last long. He's not. He burns bright, but it's short. Just look at his time in San Francisco. I mean, like, awful before he got there, amazing when he got there. Was there for a few years left because he can kind of grate on players. He can kind of become a voice that gets lost in the locker room. Like he's awesome. Don't get me wrong. Great head coach hire. I'm still just super in on Sean Payton. Anyways, I just gotta get back to the Chargers on this topic because
No, it's fine. I
I'm
mean,
two
I feel like that's
Broncos
what.
essentially.
Well, I mean, I think it's fair though. I mean, you have them, or do you have them? Do you have them in the playoffs? It's ten
Yeah, I have them in
wins.
the
I was gonna
playoffs
say
at ten
so.
and seven.
It makes it a little bit easier to talk about. I'm pretty sure I do have both of these teams in the playoffs, so I will. I said we get there. I guess we got there. Both of these teams do make the playoffs. The AFC for me, the wild cards seemed to they were. It was difficult for me because I had so many 10-7 teams. So it was hard for me to exactly predict what I
Yeah.
thought the playoff picture would be. But we'll get into the full picture
You know what?
pretty soon here. So
I might have the Chargers missing in playoffs with the Slater injury, if I'm being honest, because they were 7 and 7 with me. Maybe
Yeah, so
Slater might equal
that's
Lowe's.
fair. Like the Slater injury is huge, and it definitely made me like rethink things. But I still believe in Joel. I still believe in three of their
Love
other
Joel.
offensive linemen on that team. Like I
Mhm.
think that they can get the job done. And I knew Denver's O line wasn't something to laugh at or anything. I just didn't. I wouldn't have like off the top of my head. I don't know if I would have considered them elite. But I'm not gonna argue with you. You brought the stats. I know that they were good. You know what I mean? So it's like you just gave
Mm.
me the statistics to back up why I knew that they were good. So it was, but as far as receiver room goes, like I think it might be one of the worst in the league, and that was kind of why I had them not having the edge here
Mm.
between these two teams. I do think they split the season series though. I think it's gonna be a tough one. I could see these teams flipping easily because Denver's defense is such a highlight, and it's something that I do want to talk about. So we'll move on to them,
Yeah.
so you can get all the Denver out of your system, and I'll
Just I just wanna say what I think about the Chargers because I feel like I have been a little too Denver centric because we're comparing and contrasting. I think the Chargers home run hit Amari Hampton. Way to upgrade that room. Way to upgrade the running back room. Najee, good compliment. I'm glad they did that. O line, I'm worried about Slater's injury on how it impacts his team, but the right tackle that's started for them for 3 years for Herbert already. Like, it's not something he's not going to be used to, and he still was good when he had him there. So maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'll still have him making the playoffs. Maybe I shouldn't weigh it too much. It's just my only question with them at this point. I want to bounce it back to you. What? My only question with them is their playoff production performances. Like, are they going to
yeah,
be a
that's
good team in that
definitely
regard? Like, that's
to
it. That's
get
all I hope
there.
to.
To get there is one thing. To win one is a whole nother. And I'm
A
I'm not
whole
sure.
nother thing.
I think about a big part of that one will be kind of how the cookie crumbles per se, as far as how the bracket lines up, who they get first, where they have to go, because obviously they don't have them winning the playoffs, so they're not going to get a home game. So where they have to travel will probably come into a big question. It'll come into question there. So defensively speaking, no doubt in my mind that Denver has the edge here. So that was part of the reason why like I really did struggle with this. But quarterback is such a heavily impactful position, and I just think that there is a pretty wide gap between Herbert and Knicks, as well as who is surrounding them from an offensive skill standpoint. So
Yeah.
that was kind of what broke that tie for me. So I'm gonna get into my Broncos stuff now. All right, I just want to kind of share my points about the Broncos since they were my third place team. I already explained why they are below the Chargers. So 10-7 is nothing to scoff at. I do still have them making the playoffs. So there's three playoff teams in this division, in my opinion. I'm not completely sold on Bo Nix, this is a very very weird point that I'm about to be super like I'm about to be hypocritical. Or like I'm about to like contradict myself.
Mm.
I'm not sold on Bo Nix, but I also think he does not get enough credit for last year just because Jaden Daniels was so impressive.
Because
Caleb
Jin, yep.
Williams is a big name, and I'm gonna just say it. Drake May
Drake
eye
May.
test looks better. Like he just I got you. Like the flashes look better. Sorry, I should
Yeah.
probably. So I do think like it's a weird thing to say I'm not sold on somebody, but to also feel as if they're underappreciated or undervalued for what they did.
Yeah.
So I did want to put that up. But defense to me is just clearly the best part of this team. They are. I just expect them to be so fun to watch. I mean, Singleton, former Eagle. No, I'm just playing. Hafunga being in addition to that DB room already. Certain defending defensive player of the year. Can he go back to back? Adding Dre Greenlaw. Uh,
Mm.
I think Drew Sanders did have an injury, but I do think he's still a notable linebacker. I just think that this defense it might be the best in the league this year. It could be.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. My other
That's what I'm
fellow white
betting.
man, Riley Moss, like I would bet it too. Like Brandon
Awesome
Jones,
corner.
crazy. Like exactly. Point being, this team has some highlights on
Mm.
defense. They have a coach that a lot of NFL fan base believes in. He's not my favorite guy, but I don't want to disrespect him. He does where he goes, winning follows. So I don't you know
True.
I don't want to I definitely don't want to say anything of sorts bad about him, but I do want to hop into what ultimately like quarterback. Yes, Bo Nix not sold on him, which is why Herbert I am
Mm.
sold on him as far as like I think he regular season talent wise it's there. He can throw the ball. He can do it
Mm.
all. But he's had his time in the life for me. So it's really just I think they might have one of the worst skill position groups in the NFL. Like I really truly believe that. Wide receiver room being Sutton, Mims, Franklin, and what Trent Sherfield. Like I don't believe in any of them outside of Cortland Sutton, and I don't even know how much I believe in Cortland Sutton. Every year, this dude is producing at a good level, and I still feel like he's disrespected by all of NFL media and all of NFL fans as far as like how we feel about him in a ranking. But then again, if you line him up to all these other great people, like I'm not gonna.
Mm.
Last year he had 700 yards, but the year before that, he's only been 1,000-yard receiver twice. That's what I had written down. Cortland Sutton is
Yeah.
supposed to be their name, I guess, in the receiver room. I guess you'd argue Evan Ingram now, right, as far as pass catchers go. But
Mm.
for him to be their proven wide receiver and to only be a two-time, and when I say two-time, we're talking about a pretty hefty. I'm sorry, he did have 1,000 yards last year. I got that messed up. He didn't have 1,000 yards for like 4 seasons in a row prior to that. So it was his
A little
first
banged up
thousand.
though.
Yeah,
A little banged up though.
first 1,000 yard season in 4 years since 2019 is what I had
Mm.
written down. I think he was a rookie in 2018. So he's he's 29 years old. He'll be 30 in October. He's supposed to be the proven guy here, and I just don't know what I believe he can do this year as a wide receiver one. And I definitely don't think he's very high on my list of wide receiver ones. But this isn't even your second place team.
Nah. And
This
I
is
got a lot to
your
say about them.
division winner.
Yeah. I
Sorry, I
got a
had to ruin the
lot to
party
say
on
about
this
them.
one. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
spin it to you because we're gonna let you explain
Right
why.
now. Broncos country. Let's ride.
Go ahead, man. Why
Yeah.
are they
So
beating the Chiefs in the Chiefs'
okay.
own division?
So I have them 12-5. Let's just put that out there now. It's not like they're world beaters in terms of the Chiefs. Like what I have them above the Chiefs. It's very similar. Like I would not be shocked if the Chiefs won this division. I don't think it's clear cut. Let me just put it. I feel like I just see the writing on the wall for the Chiefs. Like shockingly, I know Broncos win the division. Crazy. I'm a crazy man. I'm Max Kellerman to the Patriots. Whatever. They won this division 9 years in a row. That's not all Mahomes. So I'm not gonna give that all to Mahomes. I feel like the writing's on the wall. If I'm being completely honest, that this division has gotten significantly better. This isn't the Patriots dynasty. They don't have garbage cans in the other three teams in this division like the Patriots are going to win no matter what. These are some very competent teams with some amazing coaches and good quarterbacks. Now to talk about your point about the receiver room, I don't disagree with the talent, but the production, it's there. He just threw 29 touchdowns last year. That's more than Herbert threw. The production is
By
there, even if
two,
you don't think there's receivers.
right?
Yes, by two, but it's also only second to Herbert in a rookie of like how many passing touchdowns were thrown. He has the second most all time, Bo Nix.
No,
Like I get what you're
yes, I
saying.
understand that, but there's the like. Sorry, I
The
don't want to cut you
production's
off.
there.
Continue.
Like
Continue.
the production's there. The names aren't there necessarily. I don't even disagree with that. And I think it's another Sean Payton effect. The production honestly is there to me to not necessarily question it. Their running backs last year averaged 3.3 yards per carry. Behind that elite offensive line, that is a tragedy. They had literal dumpster cans back there. They got an upgrade with J.K. Dobbins, bare minimum. I'm an RJ Harvey guy. If they can just get to league average, if they can just get to league average and 4.4 yards a carry, if not more, this offense can take another jump. They can be even better, honestly. If we're being completely honest here, they could be a top 10 offense potentially, even with this like barren weapons room, because they're schematically just sound. They're amazing. Bo Nix gets the ball where he needs to go. He tell him what to do, he'll do it. I'm not sold on him either being a franchise quarterback. I think that's where it came down to for you. You're like, look, he was good last year. People underrate him. But my question is he a franchise quarterback? I don't know yet. I don't know that yet, to be honest. He doesn't need to be a franchise quarterback to win this division, in my opinion.
That
He
is that
there's-
that's a crazy sentence to me. In my opinion, that's an insane sentence. But I
he might
don't
be the fourth worst quarterback in this division.
like fourth best.
He
Yeah,
might
I
have
understand.
he might have the second he has, in my opinion, the second best head coach in this division, the best offensive line in this division, the best defense maybe in the entire NFL. Like he
I
has
wouldn't
a
argue
lot
defense.
around him. He has a lot around
You're
him.
right. He has a lot going for him, but to say that he can win this division,
Mhm.
this division
Yeah.
with a certain somebody and somebody else right
Yeah.
there, you know what I'm saying, in Kansas
I'll
City.
talk about the Chiefs when we get to it, because this has a lot to do with my opinion on the Chiefs not being better than they were last year. But I think when you bring in someone like Jahdae Barron to an already stacked cornerback room, this pass rush was amazing last year. They might have been the best pass rush in the league last year. I'm not exactly sure. They might have had most sacks, most pressures. They have some studs on this defense. They're gonna make it hell for anyone they play. Bo Nix just needs to be a game manager, and I know he can be a game manager. Honestly, and that's what I'm saying. I don't need him to be a franchise quarterback. I just need him to be a game manager. That's all Sean Payne's asking him to do, and he can do that. To be
So
honest, like
so
he can do
Denver
that.
Denver and the Chargers actually have the same like over under on win total for Vegas at 9.5.
Mm.
And to probably no surprise, the Chiefs are projected to be like 2 games better. So I just think that's an interesting thing to note. I do think that they win 10 games. I do, and I do think that they get into the playoffs. I just think the lack of skill players it's gonna show, and
Their
I
offense
feel
is gonna
like
be
it's
better.
hard to know. It's hard to know what you have in a quarterback when they're working with that. So,
Yeah.
again, this is gonna be one of the most contradicting things that I say because I'm going both ways on this Bo Nix point. I'm not sold on him, but at the same time, to put up those stats with nothing last year, like you get what I'm saying. I'm like I'm going both ways
He's a
on
game
the street,
manager.
and I don't know where I'll fall when all is said and done. Point being, I think the team's good enough to win 10 games. I think they're definitely good enough to get into the playoffs. And I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility that they win this division because I have the Chiefs atop of the division, but only 2 games better. So,
Yeah, and this is my thing too. Before we get into the Chiefs, because
yeah.
this is a big part of why they're not going to win the division. I think the Broncos win it. Obviously, the Broncos last year, and you can take this the way you want to. I'm curious how you would fall on this, but they were 1-5 in one score games. That is obviously atrocious, right? That variance year to year, I don't think is going to stay the same. I think they could easily be a 500 team in one score games next year, especially with a much improved run game. Especially with the much improved run game, if we're being honest, and a
Agree
much
with that.
improved defense. Even though they were great last year, a much improved defense. That variance, because we're kind of like on the Washington, like going back a few episodes ago. Oh, no way they win all these one score games, right? The variance has to come back to the middle. That's how I feel about some team that overly loses one score games. The variance has to come back to the middle. They're not going to be 1-5 next year in one score games. That to me is just not going to happen. So that equates to more wins. If I'm being completely honest, they don't get their field goal blocked by the Chiefs. The Raiders don't mishandle a snap against the Chiefs. Like there's a lot of things that went the Chiefs' way, and there's a lot of things that didn't go the Broncos' way. And I think it comes back to somewhere in the middle. And they improved. They might have had the best offseason in the NFL, and that's really what it comes down to for me. They might have had the best offseason.
They also, I mean, your points aren't invalid. I don't think that they're invalid. I was just gonna say that the team I have them below. A big reason that I had them below them, like the Chargers, I have in second place, and a big part of that was because one score game or not, the Chargers were able to beat them twice last year, and I just don't see a reason why they wouldn't be able to do that again.
And the Broncos still made the playoffs. Like that
You're
goes to
right.
show.
So
You know
did
what
the
I'm saying?
Chargers.
Like
So did the Chiefs. So I think we're
yeah,
going to see something similar this year. I think 3 of them are capable of winning or getting to the playoffs, or earning a playoff spot. I think that uh, I do believe that schedule will come into play as far as difficulty, and Denver does have the easiest schedule out of the 3 teams
that's
that we've
another big
discussed.
thing for
So
them, in
that's
my opinion.
yeah, it's middle of the pack. I didn't write it down. I believe they're like 14, but it's definitely just around the middle ground. It's not one of the hardest. It's not top 10 hardest. It's not top 10 easiest. So it definitely falls somewhere in the middle, but it's easier than the other teams we've discussed already. So I think we should move it on to the team that I have in first place, the team that you
Yeah.
do not have in first place, more notably the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm winning 12 games. So not world beaters, I think is the term you use for the 12 wins Broncos in your mind. I think wide
Yeah.
receiver health and availability is going to be a question again this year. I think that it's just super notable that Mahomes is 35-5 against the AFC West. Yes, they're improving. Yes, they've gotten a lot better. He still won like every game minus what the last week against his division last year. Am I wrong? Like
Yeah, he was like 16-0. He was like 16-0 in one score games, and he was amazing against his division.
I
Just
just meant more so like last year in a division or not a division, but in a year that didn't go beautifully to the eye, at least
yeah.
year long. Their only
Hmm.
loss, divisionally speaking, was Week 18 when Carson Wentz was out there. So
Yep.
Carson Wentz makes the show once again. Um,
Look. Yeah.
they also so things that do go into
Yeah.
your favor with this one is
Mhm.
they have the 6th hardest schedule this year. They've had
Mhm.
O line changes to the point where they lost the most the most important part of their offensive line last year was Joe Thuney, and now he's gone.
Yep.
So I think
Agreed.
that there was a lot that would go. I think a lot of the things that I have noted would probably go your way, but the thing that I just I need to harp on more than anything else is until otherwise proven, it's their division. It's their division to lose. Kind of like you were saying about the Niners, but even more so in the sense that Patrick Mahomes owns all these teams, and so does Andy Reid. I mean, that's just the truth. Yes, those teams are improving. Yes, they've gotten a lot better. They're making great strides. Two of those teams were
Mhm.
playoff teams, and the one that wasn't got a thousand times better at quarterback and at coach and many other spots as well. So
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. I don't think you're crazy. I only have them a game ahead of the Chiefs, 2 games ahead of the Broncos. Clearly, I think that there is this a possibility that they don't win the division. I
Mhm.
just if I was a betting man, I wouldn't put my money there
You're
just
riding with
because
greatness, and I can't disagree with that. I
it's
can't disagree with that.
it's not
I'm
even
going
so much
to.
riding with greatness. I guess maybe so. Maybe it's just the Andy Reid bias that I still do have because I love Andy. Great years in Philadelphia. No Super Bowls, unfortunately, as far as rings. He made it, but
well,
no
well,
wins. No
fortunately for
wins.
me.
No. All right. You want to talk about Nick Foles now? Do we want to switch to stats here?
Okay,
All
here
right.
we go. Uh,
But yeah, so I think that a lot of the things that I find notable about this football team would make them worse than they were last year, which I have them worse than they were last year. 12 wins, that's 3 less than a year ago. I don't think everything's going to go their way, which kind of answer your question, but I also don't think that like it's hard when you can't like lightning doesn't strike the same spot twice. Like
yeah.
so did they really look out on all these? Like yes, like the Raiders snap is crazy, but a blocked field goal, like you got to make that play. They blocked a field goal.
Yeah.
Like that's not
You're right.
and it just goes multiple ways. That's all I'm saying. But 12-5, 1 game better than the Chargers, 2 games better than the Broncos. It's not crazy for them to
Not out of
not
the
win this
realm.
division, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride with Mahomes and Andy until further
Yeah. Okay.
notice.
I only have the Broncos. Just to be perfectly clear, I have the Chiefs at 11-6. There's a 1 game difference. Just to be perfectly clear, the Chiefs could easily win this. And if the Chiefs are in the playoffs, I'm not saying I wouldn't take them to go to the Super Bowl. This is not an indictment on the Chiefs per se. It's how much I believe in how good this division has gotten. And honestly, I guess it is a little indictment on the Chiefs because I don't think they aren't drastically improved to me. People want to talk about this offense like, oh, it's gonna get better. This, that, the third. It was so bad last year. Yeah, it was awful last year. You know what also was bad and doesn't get talked about? Their defense. It went from top four to 16th. That is huge. That is a huge negative. That is a huge regression on their defensive side of the ball. And it just doesn't get talked about because their offense was that bad. They were in conversations with the Patriots and Giants. I don't care that Hollywood is healthy now. I don't care. Rasheed Rice isn't he's missing 6 weeks, and then they have a bye week on top of that.
It's
This
catch up.
room, this room isn't that improved. Like this offense is not that improved, and people want to like Mahomes might have a bounce back here. He's not going to be throwing bombs. I'll tell you that much. This offensive line is not going to allow him to have the time to throw these plays. They're going to take 3 or 4 seconds to develop. It's not going to be, in my opinion. I'm not banking on it being a good offensive line. Even if Simmons hits, which he very well could be, it's an unknown. But this left guard, I'm not sold. I love Creed Humphrey. I love Trey Smith. The right tackle.
Yeah, it's
I'm
gonna
spacing
be
his name right now.
Jawan
Jawan Taylor.
Taylor, Jalen Moore probably this year.
Bad,
I
bad.
don't disagree with that, but I
Like,
mean we don't know what Moore is, but I don't disagree with the Jawan Taylor point. I mean
yeah.
like I'm pretty sure he just false started like 3 times while we were having this conversation. So
Dude, this offensive line is not going to allow Patrick Mahomes to like prosper necessarily. I'm not sold on their run game. If I'm being honest, they stayed the same overall to me. And if you stay the same in the NFL, you got worse. That's really what it comes down to for me. Rest of this team got markedly better,
everyone thinks they
markedly
were
better.
bad last year. I mean everyone. Me and you
Yeah,
didn't think watching them every week
and
on a
they
week to week
somehow
basis,
got there.
and they
Yeah,
still were in the Super Bowl. They still took down Buffalo. They still took down Houston. They still got a bye week. Like it's just
yeah. I don't think they
it's
get a bye
hard to
week
think.
though,
I'm
and
not saying
that's
that
going to
they
be a
do. I'm just
huge
saying
wrench to
I
throw in.
actually don't have them having the bye week this year, and I think that
Yeah,
that and which would ultimately mean that the way my bracket would fall, even if they made it to the conference championship, it's not going to be in Arrowhead. So I don't. Is it even called that anymore? It's not going to be in Kansas City. So I think that I do have them taking a step back, 3 games back to be exact, and That's a pretty decent chunk of games to lose. I do
That's a
think
decent
that
chunk, yeah.
I was gonna say I do think that the schedule has a lot to do with it. Like I said, sixth hardest. It's up there. It's one of the harder schedules in the league this year. They're still set at 11 and a half for their win total though. Like they're still expected to win the division at least in
Yeah.
Vegas, and I feel like
That's exactly
I'm
what I
right
have
there
him at
with
though.
them. I'm right there with them. So
London. Dude, I'm telling you, they make it to
you're
the
not
playoffs. I'm
under
not saying they won't
projecting the
make the Super
Chiefs.
Bowl.
So you're
Yeah.
basically what you're saying is
Or
you're
over
not
projecting the
you're yeah not well
Broncos.
over not necessarily over but yeah your
It's
projection
not
for
an
the
indictment on
Broncos
the
here.
Chiefs.
So
I really want people to know that. I think they'll win the Super Bowl. Like I'm for real. Like if they got to the playoffs, I'm not saying I wouldn't pick them in a bracket. Like I'm just gonna keep it real.
they're
I
still.
just think the
Would you
writing's on the
say that
wall.
they're still a contender
Oh yeah, they're still a
as
contender.
long
They're
as
definitely still a
Mahomes is
contender.
there, or Mahomes and Andy, or like what makes them a contender but not a
Mahomes makes them a contender
okay?
for
That's
me
kind of what
always
yeah,
because
I
as soon as he
agree.
gets in the playoffs, he can win any game. Like that's why.
He can win any
That's why I
game at
feel
any
about
time
Stafford. That's how I feel about
unless it's
Stafford,
against
honestly.
Jalen Hurts.
Or
I know you're
Tom
rooting for the
Brady.
Super Bowl.
Uh,
Pain.
but no, like I don't know if I necessarily see the Broncos as a contender. Like if we're being completely honest here, if I'm getting all my thoughts out, I don't know if I see the Broncos as a contender. I see them being better this regular season. I think that that's just how it goes. Like as the more time you're this successful, the more and more talent leaves the team. The less and less picks you have to build. Like they're just depleted. I don't think they're gonna pull out these one score games necessarily. I'm not banking on this defense bouncing back to a top five unit. Honestly, this team, middle of the pack defense, at best middle of the pack O line. I don't like their weapons that much. I don't think Kelsey is just gonna like lose 20 pounds and be Kelsey of old. He's just gonna be old Kelsey. And Mahomes is literally the second greatest quarterback of all time. Brady didn't win the Super Bowl every year. That's just what it comes down to me. This isn't the AFC East. It's the AFC West. A lot of tough things he's got to overcome this season, and he can. He really can. I just like the Broncos a lot. Easier schedule, better team, honestly, all around. Their skill position is definitely comparable to the Chiefs. O line better, defense better.
Defense is
Like
definitely better.
and Bo Nix just needs to be a game manager, and I know he can be that. That's all he has to be. I'm not saying these guys are world
The
beaters or
most
nothing like that,
underrated unknown of all time.
but just like I think everything comes back to the middle, I don't think the Chiefs are going to be 17-0 in one score games over the last two seasons. I don't think that's going to happen. And to really put the cherry on top of all this, and my finest point, the Chiefs had the third point differential in the division. You know what I mean by that, Dylan?
Yeah, like
Like
off
that
or
is gross,
scored
bro.
points scored to points allowed.
Yeah. The Chargers and the Broncos had a better point differential than the Chiefs in their own division, not even to include the rest of the NFL.
What
That is
happens when you
a
win multiple
tough,
games by two?
yeah, but that's a tough line to walk. That's not repeatable,
Yeah, and
in
they
my
walked
opinion.
that line all the way to the Super Bowl though. That's all I'm saying. But
Yeah, but they were a different team in the postseason. Let's be honest here. They hadn't scored 30 all year, and then all of a sudden in the postseason, like they turn up.
did we watch the same Super Bowl? Sorry, I had to get my shot in there.
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is like they hadn't scored 30 all year in the regular season. And then how many times did they do it in the playoffs? Like, you get what I mean?
I
Like
do. I
they had
understand.
another level to get to. And I don't think they're gonna have to play at that level all the time. I feel like they are in that position where they can kind of just coast a little bit. And I think that's what's gonna happen. They're still probably the number one team in the AFC to me overall, like when it comes to the playoffs. Until proving otherwise, Mahomes is that guy in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I definitely don't disagree. I don't. Mahomes and Andy for me are just good. They're gonna be one until I see a world where they haven't been. And they,
I
like you
get what you're
said
saying.
earlier, and which is why I didn't mention it when I gave you know, my monologue. 9 straight years. I
Nah,
I think it's more likely that they get a 10th than they don't win the division.
I don't know. I don't know if the Patriots ever won 10 straight years in the division 10 straight years in a row. But I'm expecting the Chiefs to. Like I don't know. I don't know about that one. They haven't rebuilt themselves. They've just been on a downward slope, in my opinion, for the last 2, 3 years, and that still came with two rings. Like that's how good they are. I just think this is the point. As it lowers, it rises. But yeah, just real quick, let's just I think we said all we need to say. It's been a very long podcast. Let's just wrap it up with overall like AFC, NFC, where you have them standing, and let's get out of here.
Sounds good.
Uh, You go first.
So for
Just
the
run
NFC
through the
West,
predictions. Yeah.
I had Seattle in last place, but 8-9 only game out from the Cardinals. At 9-8 in third place. My second place team was the Rams. They are going to get a playoff nod, as well as the 49ers winning the division with 12 wins.
Gotcha. I had the Rams. I'm gonna just start from what am I doing? Bottom to top. Cardinals 3-14, missing the playoffs. Top 5 pick. Seahawks 10-7, making the playoffs. Rams 11-6, making the playoffs. 49ers 13-4, winning the
Damn.
division.
So both the West for you have 3 playoff teams.
Yeah, as of right now, yeah, I believe so.
So then
Maybe the Chargers don't make it. The Rashawn
moving
Slater
over,
thing.
moving over to the AFC side, as of right now, I have the Raiders 8-9, Denver 10-7, Chargers 11-6, and then the Chiefs 12-5. Still winning the division. Unfortunately, I'm tired of it, but it's what they do.
So we have like the same number of wins, just attributed to different teams. Because I have the Raiders 6-11. That's a difference, obviously. But my 10-7 team in this division is the Chargers. My 11-6 team is the Chiefs, and my 12 and
Just a
5
different
team is the
order.
Broncos.
And
Yeah, that's
the
really
Raiders are
competitive.
probably closer to 6 wins than they are to 8-9. I just think I respect all the upgrades. That was really it. Just came down to respecting Gino, Pete Carroll, Genty, Brock Bowers.
You get to be the Geno guy now.
I don't
This
know.
ain't fair.
I don't know.
You don't get to be the Geno guy. I'm the Geno guy.
You're the yeah. Well, we could talk Cooper Cup's Hall of Fame career a different time as well, since you wanted to
Okay,
throw
here
that
we
one
go.
in there.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, all right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This was an awesome episode. One of I think our best yet to date. And we had a lot to say about these teams. If you're still here, thank you. We appreciate that. Follow us at Rings versus Rings on every platform, TikTok, Twitter, everything you could think of.
Even though
And we'll
we
catch
haven't
you guys
posted
next
yet,
week.
we're gonna
Even
start
though we
though.
haven't
We're gonna
posted yet.
start though.
You guys can be OGs. Thank you guys for being here. Have a good one.